This is the Intergas Eco RF and is available in 3 different sizes from 24, 30 to 36. The difference with the Eco RF is that it has a built-in RF receiver on the board, so you can pair up any Honeywell controls wirelessly to the boiler. The Eco RF is also based on the same technology as the HRE. The difference being on the control panel is it works on start-stop technology. So even though the boiler is on, symboled by the green light on the standby light, the rest of the display is blank until a call for hot water or heating is made. The difference with the Eco RF from the HRE and the Rapid is that it doesn't have a single channel programmer. You have to use external controls. Either pair it up with a Honeywell control using the built-in RF, or alternatively you can use Intergas's InTouch app, which controls the boiler using either an open therm control or a wireless room stat. If you have to attend the boiler for a fault, the fault will always be displayed in this window above the minus and the plus. This applies to the entire range of Intergas boilers. If the fault is displayed, there will also be a red light flashing on the reset button. If it's a resettable fault, press the reset button and the boiler will fire back up and that fault will disappear. Today we're looking at the Intergas Combi Compact HRE. This comes in a range of sizes from the 2418 through to the 3640. So the model we've got here is the HRE 2824. Simply press the flap down and we'll start from left to right. The first button is the standby button. Next to that is the temperature button for the central heating and hot water. In the middle we have a single channel programmer. Next to that we have the preheat functions. Then we have the service indicator and finally the reset button on the far right. We have a couple of options on the boiler as regards setting the time. Currently it's displayed as off, which is classed as the summer mode, which is hot water only. Press the clock button and you get the current time displayed, which then means the boiler is programmed for the heating. Press it again and you'll get T on, which is a once function. As you can see, the boiler is now fired up for heating. We'll go to number 5, as displayed in the service window. If you press the clock button again, you then display constant on. When you use constant on, you can use either an external programmer to control the boiler or use an external thermostat only. As you can see, the boiler is running constantly on the heating as symboled by number 5 in the service window. To turn that off again, press the clock button to off and that makes it into summer mode, hot water only. To program the timer, simply hold the clock symbol. The first option comes on is 6 AM. Again, you can alter that by pressing the minus or the plus button to the desired time. Press it again. That's the second option. It's the time the boiler actually turns off on the heating. Again, adjust that as you want. Press the clock button again. It allows the boiler to come on as a symbol by number 3. Again, set that to the times you want by the plus and minus. Press the clock button again once finally to turn the boiler off last thing at night. Once you've made your desired times, press and hold the reset button and that programs it to the board. If you make those alterations to the time and don't press the reset button, it won't save the desired times you've required. To get the pressure reading from the boiler, simply turn the boiler to off. The pressure then is displayed in this display window, and also the boiler is also turned off as indicated in this service window. To turn the boiler back on, press the standby button again. To alter the central heating temperature, press the temperature button. The green light will then flash on the radiator symbol and the temperature will be displayed in the display. If you press the minus button or the plus button to your desired temperature, Then press the temperature button again. It also gives you a green light on the tap symbol to alter your hot water temperature. Again, set that to your desired comfort. Once you've set that, press and hold the reset button on the far right, and the letter P will come up in the service window to say that's been programmed onto the board. With the Intergas boiler range, by simply changing a parameter on the boiler, you can turn that into a water heater, system boiler or combi by simply following the next steps. Spanner and the reset button together. Press the plus button up to 15. Press the spanner button once, and then above the spanner is symbol number 1. Above the plus and the minus is 0, which means this is set to a combi. If you wanted to change this to a hot water heater only, press the plus button to number 2, press and hold the reset button, and that programs it to the board. It's now a water heater. On the Intergas range, you can fit any control to the boiler. Please be aware that there is 2 sides to the board. There is a clearly marked 24 volt side and a clearly marked 230 volt side. If you're connecting the room thermostat, you need to connect this to 6 and 7, marked there. If you're connecting the 230 side, you need to use connections 1 and 3 for your 230 volt room stat or programmer. Also be aware that you need to change the front of the board to continuous on if you're using external programmers. With all the range from Intergas, the boilers don't have a diverter valve. We only have 4 moving parts, which is the pump, the gas valve, the fan and the flow sensor which operates the hot water. With the HRE and the Eco RF, you can make this boiler an open vented boiler simply by disconnecting the pressure sensor. If you remove the chimney from the boiler, undo the cap, slide upwards and remove the condensate tray, you can quite clearly see the pressure sensor. Simply unclip the sensor, move to one side. That now makes the boiler an open vented boiler, which can be an open vented combi or an open vented system boiler or an open vented heat only boiler.